What is going on, everybody? Danny Sports here. It is week 18. We are at the end of the regular season, and for some teams, you're saying thank the Lord, and for other teams, you're saying finally, we're here. It's time to create a legacy. And it's crazy. It went by so quick. Remember the first game of the year, Lions and Chiefs on that Thursday night. Is a big deal that Lions upset the Chiefs, but as the season's gone on, the Chiefs have not been the same as years past. Same thing with the Lions. And now we're here. The Detroit Lions won the division for the first time since the early 90s, and the Chiefs still did their thing, but they won the 8th straight division title, but they are not the same team. There are a lot of meaningful games and a lot of games where rest. Let's find out what these games are and predict them. How this works, the lime green W means just a straight up win. The S means they covered the spread.
These odds are also from FanDuel Sportsbook.
There are 2 Saturday games, one of them being one of the best rivalries in the NFL. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers fighting for their lives, taking on the Baltimore Ravens, the best team in the NFL heading into the postseason. Pittsburgh's fighting for their lives. They have to win, and then they either have to have Buffalo lose or have Jacksonville lose to make the playoffs. Taking the Steelers here in the win, just because of the rest factor for Baltimore. Now we have a playoff game. Depending on what happens with Jacksonville, this could be the AFC South championship game. We have the Houston Texans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Texans coming off a blowout win against the Titans. Colts coming off a close, hard-fought win against the Raiders. These two teams met week 2. Anthony Richardson had 2 rushing touchdowns, and Indianapolis had dominated Houston. That was C.J. Stroud's first ever home game, though. Second ever game in the NFL. And since then, he has been phenomenal. Arguably the greatest rookie quarterback of all time. The Texans have been inconsistent all season. 1 good game, 1 bad game. The Colts are similar, inconsistent. 1 good game, 1 bad game. Both these coaches are phenomenal. I'm going to take the team with the slightly better quarterback. And I feel like this is going to be C.J. Stroud's coming out party. First primetime game for either of these teams all season long. And it's to make the playoffs. The Jags win, they win the division. They win the AFC South. They get the 4 seed, host Cleveland in the wild card. This is either whoever wins this game is the 7 seed or the 4 seed in the AFC. This is a playoff game. You lose, you're out. You win, you're in. I'm taking the Texans here. Now to Sunday we go. We have an NFC South matchup. It's not great. Atlanta Falcons taking on the New Orleans Saints. This game is meaningless if the Buccaneers beat the Panthers. But if they lose, this is the NFC South championship game. And the Falcons are a disaster right now. The Saints are inconsistent. However, this is in the Superdome, and Atlanta beat them earlier this season. These two teams are evenly matched. I'd like this to be a split. New Orleans will give whoever's back there, Ritter or Heineke, a hard time. And that's going to be the difference. A couple forced turnovers, short fields for New Orleans, and more points on the board for them. And it could be Arthur Smith's last game as the coach of the Falcons, too. I'm going to take the Saints. This game is completely meaningless in terms of playoffs. Bengals are out. Browns are the 5 seed, taking on the winner of the AFC South in the wild card. Everyone is resting for Cleveland, similar to Baltimore, which is why the spread is so high. The Bengals favored by 7. I'm going to say the Bengals win this game. However, it's not by 7. It's going to be a closer game than people think. Again, Cleveland resting everybody, but Cincinnati, I don't think they'll blow. It's a division game. These two teams know each other so well. I'm thinking it'll be a blowout. I'm going to take the Bengals, though. Going to see a lot of this. You got a team with nothing to lose in the Tennessee Titans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are fighting for everything. They win the division. They lose, who knows? They miss the playoffs if the Bills and Steelers win and they lose. They're done. Their season's over. So, and the Titans were awful last week, but Mike Vrabel is due for a really good game. They got annihilated by the Jaguars in Jacksonville. And since Doug Peterson's become the coach of the Jaguars have owned the Titans. So because of that, I'm going to take the Jaguars here to win the AFC South, to get going. They dominated Carolina last week. However, it was C.J. Beathard at quarterback, not Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is coming back this week. And what the Jaguars do is they own the Tennessee Titans since Doug Peterson got to Duval County. I'm going to take the Jaguars to win their second straight division title. Exact same situation in the NFC South. Tampa wins, they win the division, and that's what's going to happen. Carolina is the worst team in the league, and their owners has taken the torch and ran with it from Dan Snyder's the worst owner in the NFL. It didn't even take a year. Dan Snyder's the worst owner, and then he sold the team, and now it's David Tepper, the worst owner in the National Football League. I feel sorry for every single Panthers fan out there. You can get rid of a bad coach, bad quarterback. You cannot get rid of a bad owner unless he does some serious shit. And Tampa Bay, I think they're gonna win this game. They're not gonna mess around. I want to see a limping Philadelphia Eagles team, or Dallas Cowboys, but most likely Philadelphia Eagles team heading into the wild card round, and they win their third straight NFC South title, Tampa Bay. The worst game of the week, because neither of these teams have any playoff implications on the line. However, the Patriots have not lost to the Jets since 2015. Now the longest streak in the NFL after the Broncos beat the Chiefs. And the last time the Jets beat the Patriots was early 2015, and I think that streak continues. I'm gonna take the Patriots here to win this game. And Bill Belichick's last game as the head coach of the New England Patriots. Now to another similar game. Vikings are done, and the Lions are trying to get that 2 seed. And I like Detroit here to bounce back big. The Vikings are spiraling out of control right now. They have no quarterback. The Lions are pissed. They got robbed, legitimately robbed last week against Dallas. I like Detroit to let all that anger out on the Vikings. Now the afternoon games, the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 1 o'clock games, the late window, the best rivalry in the National Football League. The Chicago Bears heading to the frozen tundra Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. This game is the Bears' Super Bowl. It doesn't mean anything for them. We got the first pick, or the Bears got the first pick. They have gotten red hot late in the season. Things are finally clicking for this young team that was not good for a year and a half. Now it's starting to turn the corner. Green Bay, this is everything for them. Just like the Colts and the Texans, they lose, they're done. They win, they're most likely 99% in. And I like us in the upset. I like us to go into Lambeau Field. I like the Bears to go into Lambeau Field and upset the Packers up there for the first time since Thanksgiving 2015. Brett Favre had his jersey retired, and we beat them in Lambeau Field on Thanksgiving night. And Green Bay, this is a playoff game for them. They lose, they're done. They have their season ended by their arch rivals. Would make my 2024.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Dominating game of the week, Dallas Cowboys going to the Washington Commanders. They're favored by 2 scores, and I like them to win by more than 2 scores. This is Ron Rivera's last game as the coach of Washington. They're probably going to end up with the second pick of the draft and take probably Drake May from North Carolina, or Caleb Williams, or trade up with the Bears and get Caleb Williams from USC, a generational talent at quarterback. And Dallas, they're gunning for that 2 seed. They got a little ounce of luck. You need luck to win championships sometimes, and And Dallas got that, and they're going to take advantage of it. And they end up with the 2 seed in the NFC 2 weeks ago. It looks like they weren't going to win a playoff game. Now they might finally break the curse. Jimmy Johnson gets inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor, and the curse is lifted for the Cowboys, and they finally make the NFC Championship game. I don't think that will happen, but any year that curse is broken and Stephen A. Smith does not troll them on television in the morning, this is the year. Another game means nothing for the Cardinals, means everything to Seattle. Seattle loses, they're done. Seattle wins, they need Green Bay to lose, and they get into the playoffs. I like Seattle to win this game. It's a playoff game for them. Cardinals, they're playing really well. They beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia. However, the Seattle, Pete Carroll's a Hall of Fame coach. He's going to have these guys ready to go. Talk about the Rest Bowl. Carson Wentz starting at quarterback for the Rams. Sam Darnold starting at quarterback for the Niners. Kyren Williams, Aaron Donald, and Cooper Kupp also resting for the Rams. And the Niners, Christian McCaffrey's also resting, and I'm assuming a bunch of others. But Niners are locked in as the 1 seed. Rams locked in as the 6 seed. I like San Francisco to still win, though, because they just own the Rams since 2019. But yeah, this game's going to be pretty I like the Niners to win. Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. I think it is collapsing in Philadelphia. This season, it's an absolute disaster. I like the Giants to pull off the mega upset here on the Philadelphia Eagles and have their season continue to spiral downward, limp into the wild card round. Another game that doesn't mean squat, but you have Antonio Pierce as the coach. That's why it's not the shit game of the week. Jared Stidham taking on Aiden O'Connell. Broncos and Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders here, and Antonio Pierce to be promoted to full-time head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. They play really, really well at home, and the Broncos are done. They've been wanting to go to Cancun for the last month, or really since Christmas Eve. Since that loss to New England, they've been wanting to go to Cancun. Kansas City at LA Chargers. I'm going to say this is Gift Smith's only win because Patrick Mahomes is resting for the Chiefs. Chiefs are locked in as the 3 seed in the AFC and will either play Miami, Buffalo, Pittsburgh somehow, Houston, Indy, one of those teams in the wild card. I like the Chargers and Gift Smith to get his only win as the head coach of the Chargers. And recently, Ring Man, talking about Jim Harbaugh, who's got it better than the Chargers? Nobody.
Stand up now and face the sun. Won't hide my tail or turn and run. It's time to do what must be done.
And the last game of the regular season, we have the Buffalo Bills going to Miami to take on the Dolphins in the AFC East Championship. The Buffalo Bills trying to win their 4th straight division title, and the Miami Dolphins trying to win their 1st division title in 15 years, since 2008. Miami, nothing can be going worse right now. Like, when it rains, it pours. Tyreek Hill's house caught fire. Bradley Chubb, torn ACL. No Jalen Phillips, no Xavier Howard. Jalen Waddle coming off injury. Mostert coming off injury. No Connor Williams. Terron Armstead's been hurt all year. Robert Hunt's been hurt all year. It's a complete nightmare in Miami. And then Buffalo, it's been red hot since Ken Dorsey was let go. Their only loss was an overtime loss in a monsoon to the Philadelphia Eagles back when everything was still going smoothly up there. So I'm going with Buffalo to win the AFC East. This is how it goes down. If Buffalo wins, they get the 2 seed in the AFC, which is wild. And if they lose, they could miss the playoffs. Never heard of a scenario like that. They lose, they miss the playoffs, most likely, unless Pittsburgh and Jacksonville lose. But if they win, they're the 2 seed. And Miami's already in no matter what. So if they lose, they're the 6th seed and go to Kansas City. And if they win, they get the 2 seed. So that's going to do it for Week 18. The NFL regular season is over. And, wow, just what a ride. Shows how crazy an NFL season could be. Thought one team would be great, one guy win MVP, and then it's just a roller coaster ride. And what this season's taught me is patience and then insurance. You got to be patient sometimes, and you got to have insurance just in case something goes wrong. You know, talking about the backup quarterbacks. This is the year of the backup quarterback, and want to make this a yearly tradition. I love doing this. Hope you guys love football as much as I do. Love the NBA as well, but the NFL is just, it's awesome. Any team can win in a year. Next year, the Panthers could win the Super Bowl. You're right. You never know. I doubt that happens, but that's what you get in this league. I'll be shocked if, like, the Detroit Pistons win the NBA championship next year. That's what makes, in my opinion, the NFL just a little bit better than the NBA because of the unpredictability. Cincinnati Bengals a couple years ago, like 4-12 and went to the Super Bowl. Niners in like 2019, same thing, like 4-12 and went to the Super Bowl. This year, the Cleveland Browns, you know? So, yeah, this year's been a little bit more predictable because of all the injuries to all the quarterbacks. Rodgers, Burrow, just to name a few. Yeah, I love you guys. This wouldn't be possible without any of you guys. It just started as a little passion project on the side. I work a full-time job, 9 to 5 every day, or Monday through Friday. Yeah, this is my dream. This is what I love doing, and wouldn't be possible without you guys. So let's enjoy these games. Everybody stay safe, and let's dive into the playoffs next week. Peace.